was a lot that happened at the meetings over the last 2 days. There was a lot that was discussed. They are stuck on they were going to give us till March 30th to do the archaeology. And when we went into caucus, we were laughing. And we told them straight up. And then when we went back into tribal caucus, we were like, okay, pulling crews together, getting all the logistics in place, considering whether we have 26 days right now. We would have 19. We figured out. You can't do it. It was what they were asking us to do. And besides, what they were asking us to do was illegal. And what the Corps is saying is they can't see why or how it is that there's any violation of any law. The Mineral Leasing Act, the Clean Water Act, when they're trying to do the waterways, they're going to put that pipe only through the wetlands. They're going to only get them to put it 4 feet down. 4 feet. So we asked really hard after Dakota Access left, and we finally met with the Corps again. We asked a bunch more really, really difficult questions. The construction date is they are originally it was April, and now they put it back to May 15th. But they gave us an ultimatum. We said to take it and shove it, and they basically the meeting blew apart. The tribes want to come and meet together again, and the colonel will be here at Standing Rock next week. I believe we're going to go out and take him on a site visit. So there's some logistics that have to happen there.
Did you say next Friday?
Next Friday.
The 26th?
Yes.
It's not guaranteed though.
What the Corps is, the Corps has not issued any permits. The Corps has, in just North Dakota alone, there's 350 plus sites. Just in North Dakota alone, not even South Dakota. If they're only putting that pipe 4 feet down, they're going to blow right through those mounts. The place where we have the potential to fall apart is construction monitoring. Standing Rock stood its ground and never sent anybody to do any surveys and or participate in construction monitoring. Why? Because we felt that we could not do that, because that was accepting money for that. And so there's just a whole lot of logistics. There's some misnomers. There's some misinformation that's out there. We really need to get our act together, and we need to work together. And I can't emphasize it enough. And that's me saying that personally. And I have been personally invested in this, and I have been working on this from day one of starting at the TIFO office as the tribal archaeologist.
I need to share something real quick, Kelly. Just to make a correction. The chairman didn't send Kelly. He made a statement that it was imperative somebody was down there. The chairman wasn't available for the meeting, neither was the tribal attorney, and neither was I. So it was our office that sent Kelly down there to listen. The Corps of Engineer, the colonel was going to be here Friday, so part of what the chairman wants to see happen is he did engage THPL. He asked us to take the lead in getting water resources, EPA, land management, and THPL together to start looking at maps and then to start researching federal laws, because he wants a statement from us by Wednesday. And the chairman's on travel, so he's not going to be here where we get to talk to him. So we're supposed to, the 4 programs, get together, get a statement together, and then email it to him so he can review it in preparation of the colonel being here. But the colonel, it's Corps of Engineer. He's a colonel. He doesn't have to listen to anybody. Yeah, and that's part of what Kelly was.
Yeah, he said he was going to be there.
When she described what was going on at that meeting, he doesn't have to follow any protocol but military protocol. He's a colonel. That's just how they are. I'm serving the military. I know how they are. But when I of things that's gonna happen is the wish is that, and Dave has an agenda of people he wants to have talk and presentations be made and site visits, but the colonel said if I come, his office isn't guaranteeing how long he's gonna be here. So
No, he's only gonna be for a few hours. I think,
well,
from
they're
what I
not even
understood.
guaranteeing that.
Yeah,
Last time the chairman met with him, he only got 15 minutes. Before he left. And that's why he wants the tribal programs to kind of get involved in this. But like what Chase has said and Joy has said, and everybody else in the room has said, it has to be, we can't just rely on federal law. We can't fight it with just federal law. It has to be a combination of different things.
yeah, and I didn't mean to misspeak. What I meant to say was, and I thought I had said that, was that the chairman had sent me down there to say that. When I spoke to the chairman, he said, when you go down, as a member of the THPO department, make sure you say, this is not formal consultation.
It was after I told him I was going to send you instead.
Okay. Yep. So,
I wanted to
there's
add,
a meeting, I'm sorry, there's a meeting, and this is the very last thing I'll say. There's a meeting, unfortunately, the same dates as the gathering for the gathering on the 18th and 19th. There's a meeting in the Black Hills. They want to meet again on the 17th about Dakota Access. Rosebud had brought this forth, and then they're having a meeting on the 18th and the 19th, so it's conflicting with the grandfather's meeting. So it's been a long day, I'm tired, but I just wanted to say that. And they requested that somebody get sent, and so I bring that back to you. And anyway, Jeff, you have something?
Before we go any further, they're passing out food and see our relatives are eating. Everett, would you offer our grace? Continue our discussion. Yeah, go ahead.
I wanted to add that, talk about the APOE back in '99. The colonel at that time came to Wakapala, and during the rain issue, flooding and everything. Really, I didn't think nothing of it. Colonel somebody, you know. But the Army Corps, they don't actually own the Missouri River because my plight to get a home site along the Missouri River, like Kennel, southeast of Kennel, going back into JTAC and everything, they only paid 40% on a dollar. 40 cents on a dollar. The Army Corps, when they flooded to build the Hawaii Dam, so they still owe these landowners and heirs 60 cents or 60%. Yeah. But like the bigger picture was like what they call a rehab program, and they call it just compensation. They still haven't got the full compensation. I'm sure there's a lot of people that maybe got something on a back burner or they may be entitled to. So anyway, but that's what, like I said, I'm required we don't have to jump to their tune because we still have Lodio title, and then treaty law and everything. We have to get a coalition together. And but there's one guy I mentioned. I think his name is I forgot his. He used to work as a janitor, custodian at the tribe. Might have retired now, but he's I think it's Kanaka. He has some papers that show him on the East Bank, his land, his allotment, or
Leonard Village Center?
huh?
Leonard Village Center?
No, Kanaka. He was a he has like glasses and kind of a black hair like, and he's like a custodian, but now he might have retired. But he has some documents on the east bank of the river, and it says that too. Our water rights go to the East Bank and beyond, back in 74A. I just wanted to mention that, so the Corps can't say they own the full water rights and stuff, so that's all I gotta say.
Just so you know, Long Soldier's already been having meetings, and a motion came over to Long Soldier District asking Sanab Sioux Tribe to allocate money to the communities along the river so that they can get together like what's happening here, but so that eventually the communities can get together and start planning together. And also, I wish LaDonna was here because they're already starting to talk in Cannonball. The Cannonball community is also starting to organize. Hopefully at some point we'll get together.
I'm the Dakiopi. All you young folks, thank you for the meeting and the meal. As you can see, we're all related. I'd like to thank all of you, Cousin Virgil, and Cousin John here, and Auntie here, and these two young women from Cheyenne River with us. What I wanted to share was that our ancestors were here before us, and that Chape'o Wokiksile, Dakota 38+2, you got to think about them. Because when you talked about your wife, cancer, I had cancer 5 years ago, and I had Everett Kajuta. And one of my concerns is that I'm born and raised here on Standing Rock. I'm not going to go anywhere else because this is where I belong. And there's too many cancers going on. All kinds of cancers. And the Rishitus are coming with this oil, the pipeline, everything's being dug out. And it's not fair because they all come to our continent, destroying it, destroy our ancestors, emotionally, physically, verbally, sexually. They ruin our grounds and waters and animals. I live in McIntosh and I live along the railroad tracks, and now we see deers running, going by. I haven't seen a deer since September. You know, and I feel this. Something is coming. And I'm just worried. I feel it. One of the things that I wanted to share was these two women came, and this young one, she's a survivor, that wounded knee. Every one of us, we come from our ancestors. Dako, you help. So I expect all of you to start using that Chanupa. Wochikia, relate this message. Those of you that have pipes, Chanupas, use it. That's what God gave us. And every morning I've been praying. You know, I'm seeing things. Leila Oyekshija, I feel this sadness is coming to this earth. When that eclipse came, I'm sure it again. Everett and I and our daughter and our Kaguja were standing outside. When the eclipse came, well, Everett and Kaguja, she went back in the house, and me and my daughter were standing up right above Everett. These two people don't believe. It's almost the size of that little plane, the commercial plane. And it's a new croissant. So I've been really thinking about it, and you know, I've been praying a lot. And I'm just going to let you guys know that really, like, as a common person, you know, being a grandma, you know, I feel something. I just want to share it in these meals. You know, we should all come together. I know Cousin Virgil mentioned that, you know, us relatives don't socialize. We don't. No, I've been sober for this year 21 years. You know what? Little interesting. Our people, our young ones, you know, I have my children. They use drugs, alcohol, who suffering, my grandchildren. But I don't want to burden on anybody, but that's what I've been saying. I just wanted to share my feelings. I know, well, how about you? You have to check it, dear. You can conquer everything. And be glad that we come from our ancestors. That's why I'm here tonight, to support. And I thank you, young ones. I too come from okay, Joshua. And it's sad. Koche oye kike wana wa. Check the check.
Oh. Did Charlie go home?
Maybe he's out smoking or something.
How about Chase?
I was outside with him talking.
Okay. One of the things I heard tonight was, and we discussed this earlier, was the need to develop an account for donations for this camp, especially if the camp is going to be away from Standing Rock. You know, if we're in the Cannonball area, it's not going to be too difficult. But the further north we get, if we have a landowner that's how would I put that? Wants to work with us, then we're going to need to have supplies and whatnot. So we need to set up an account. If we go through the tribal council, it's going to take a long time to do. So that was our discussion. We have to work that out. Also, the comment was made that tonight that we opened the door to the Ocheki Shakoi. And we need to discuss that because there are resolutions that we need to get together. I was going to have my sister Faith do that, but I don't see her here tonight. But maybe somebody, we sit down and develop a few resolutions in support of some of the actions that are being taken south of us. And tonight Joey brought forward the Meskwaki people in that manner, in support of, in opposition to, because I haven't seen a resolution yet opposing the actions that the three affiliated tribes have taken. Now, I wanted to, so I was wondering if Charlie is there?
No, there's not, to my knowledge.
Okay, you see, that needs to be developed because LaDonna Allard is telling us that there are people on the three affiliated that oppose this. But it wasn't taken to their people. It was just from the council floor that all this action started. So we need to develop a resolution opposing this action by the three affiliated tribes. Also, that's what I want to know. Chances here, you know, he said to create alliances, and that's one of the things that we have to do. We must create alliances, especially amongst ourselves, because this is going to have a long-reaching effect. Because there's a lot of water taken out of Missouri to be used for drinking water, especially, and some of the land that was taken for this pipeline through North Dakota, what I'm understanding is it was taken through eminent domain.
Not yet.
Not yet.
No, that is what is going to happen, and just one more tribe to throw in there, the Winnebago were there also, and they had a resolution opposing, and the resolution, and Cheyenne River opposes, Rosebud opposes,
The three affiliated tribes passing resolutions there.
they have their own resolutions opposing, the pipeline. But that's a really excellent idea, that the tribal council should, in my mind, say that they oppose, the Great Plains Chairman's Association opposed the pipeline, but yet Three Affiliated entered into agreement with Dakota Access. And the interesting thing, one of the arguments that can be made is that Figure 4 Ranch, that the tribe bought that. And they were, in my mind, and what I have been told, that it was already in process of being transferred into trust. Therefore, increasing it as a federal action. It's a federal undertaking, but there's no federal lands that they're crossing, is what their argument is. Well, wait a minute, and because the Fish and Wildlife Service, their solicitor out of Washington, is saying, no, that's private land, we just manage it. And the Corps is saying the 408, the 404, we have all of them, they're all segmented. Each water crossing that the Corps is handling, each PCN is a separate PCN. A separate agreement would have to be made with it if we were to enter into an agreement with them. It's just a freaking mess. And so, but the Figure 4 Ranch, the Three Affiliated took millions of dollars for them to be able to cross at that point. And my argument is if it was in process of going into trust, and the Corps and everybody else is saying, no, it's private. They kept it private. Was that in a part of the agreement, that it be kept private? So we don't know. There's some questions about the Figure 4 Ranch that have to be answered. Basically, Three Affiliated sold out. Big time. Because if they had not, this would be a whole different ballgame. And it's why the pipeline project corridor goes up and around, because they would have been going through federal lands. They deliberately avoided. But the other thing, I wish Chase was here, because that right-of-way is a Trans-Canada, the Northern Border gas pipeline, that gas pipeline right-of-way, that pipeline belongs to Trans-Canada. It went functional in 82. It's most likely got inferior steel. I'm also worried about the natural gas that could possibly, the benzene, that could possibly, and we wouldn't know because we wouldn't be seeing it.
Well, you don't see benzene.
You don't see benzene, and it could possibly be leaching into the river. With the HDD, with the HDD drilling that will take place. So the right-of-way, how far away from the Northern Border gas pipeline will the pipeline be, is one of those questions. So there's all kinds of questions, and each PCN and a PCN is basically a document that the Corps of Engineers has to create that describes that water crossing, that wherever they have jurisdiction, a PCN, a document is created. And it's basically, there's hundreds of them, but they're treating them each individually. And so the Corps says we don't have any jurisdiction in most of these areas. And so it's, this is a circumvention of the law. There's several acts that are being violated in my way of looking. And then they're throwing it out there that, oh, there's been case law that's been built up, and it's like they're trying to discourage us.
They're trying to discourage you because they know once it gets thrown into federal court, it's going to be stuck there and they're not going to be able to build it. And that's where it needs to go.
And the Corps of Engineers has not yet issued a permit, 404 or 408, on anything.
What is a PCN?
He's asking us.
What does it stand for?
That's a good question. Public, notice, public.
I mean, it's important that we know
Yeah.
these acronyms, because when they say something, throw something out, you know, like I told you about DAPL, the access pipeline, you know, I figured that out, but we don't want people sitting there thinking, what are they talking about?
Yeah.
Because then they lose all the everything behind it that you're saying. So it's important that we understand. HDD, what's that?
Horizontal.
Hit by a deer.
See?
Horizontal directional drilling.
Horizontal.
It's this new drilling that they utilized for the fracking in the Bakken oil fields, and they're
Okay.
utilizing it for this.
HDD, horizontal.
Horizontal directional drilling. That's what
drilling.
started the first Gulf War.
Yes.
Now the other thing is benzene.
Benzene. Benzene is a chemical that is extremely carcinogenic. And it's used in all kinds of different things, but what you can't see it, you can't smell it. It just
Why is that brought into this pipeline picture?
because they use it in the horizontal directional drilling, along
Okay.
with many other carcinogenic, just as dangerous.
So you're saying that this has an attachment to the oil that they're pulling out of the fracking, and that's been scientifically proved.
Yep.
Okay, that's good.
And then the other thing that happens with these pipelines is a lot of times those things like benzene and stuff build up within the pipe, like bubbles, and then they'll burst and they'll leak out through little tiny leaks, and then you could have this huge benzene cloud happening, and you won't even see it or smell it. The only thing that'll happen is people start falling over.
Okay, so that's been. I just wanted to know for everybody, because I didn't understand it either.
Mm-hmm.
Now the other part, that's why I was wondering, did they leave?
I went outside, they're not up.
Charles and Chase? I'm disappointed, but that's still on yet here. I'm disappointed they're gone. What I was going to ask is, with all of these issues of pollution and damaging or destroying the environment, can we bring, or should we bring, human rights issues into this argument, into this discussion?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
You gotta think about the mental health issues that's gonna be involved in this. You let that pipeline go through, you're gonna be dealing with all kinds of issues that's going on up at Fort Berthold. I come from a place where the pipeline went through. We're still struggling with it. We have kids that are born from any kind of drugs, you name it. A lot of those kids are ADHD now. They're not able to take care of themselves. This is a new generation.
So
and
actually,
we're being forced to take care of them.
is that on? So actually, for friends and relatives that are hooked in with us, that was Dorothy. You go by Locke yet? Okay, there's Dorothy Locke. She's originally from Alaska, talking about the pipeline that came through here. Because when we talk about human rights issues, what's going on in Flint, Michigan?
Mhm.
That lead contaminated water that they have been drinking. Now this is what we're going to be facing, probably much worse when there is a break in the pipeline. Now secondly, what's going on down in Brazil, and Monsanto is now being pointed at for the what do they call it, Dusty? The
Massacre.
the stuff that's been sprayed on their crops.
Basically, like Agent
Oh,
Orange,
that
pesticides.
larvicide.
Yeah, larvicide, you know, and this is what we're dealing with, this, I think, with human rights issues. So, and then, I don't know, but John is here, Kanshi John and Kelly's here to give us a little information on this, and maybe Jeff, you know a little bit about this, but to cross the Missouri at any point, isn't that a violation of treaty rights? Because that's not state, that's federal.
Yes, it is. The river bottom belongs to the Ocheti Shakoni. And just so you know, we figured out what PCN is. If I can bring my phone back up here. Pre-construction notification, PCN. And, you know, I took this young man with me to Nebraska so that he could learn, so that he could bring back information to community members, so that he could help spread the word about the fact that it's not just about the river crossing, it's about the entire length. And that's what, you know, I'll repeat it, that it's so important that we organize together, that we help one another. And it is a human considerations concern. What are the human considerations? It's not just about our sacred sites. It's not just about what they're saying is in their national interest and for energy independence. It's about our national interest. As far as the river crossing is concerned, they're planning on going 92 feet down. The HDD will cause vibrations to the sediments of the soil. The state engineer's office of North Dakota is very concerned about this because of the way that Minnesota has a life of its own and meanders and doesn't yield to anyone, even though they put dams on it. And what people don't understand is, I think, to a large degree, we have to look at the original riverbed. We have to envision the dams not there and the water not so wide across. We have to think about it differently. And so, the original riverbed, how deep is it? Where is its bottom? Those sediments that are in there, they have contaminants in them now because of all of the things that have occurred since the damming of the rivers. And so, one of the considerations is, what if, well, not when, not if, but when, the Garrison Dam breaks. It's an earthen dam. It would completely wash out the sediments. Any flood event, another major flood event, with the drought events and the flood events, the sediments build up, they shift, new sandbars are made. With the drought event,